Hey guys, in this video, we're talking about becoming a pain correction specialist faster than most people by doing less work and spending less money. Now listen, I know with an intro like that, you're like, get me to the content. But before we get into this video, make sure if you guys are interested in getting into the paint correction and ceramic coating business world, make sure to go below in the YouTube description box and grab my ceramic coating quick start, which is gonna teach you guys not only how to get into ceramic coatings and paint correction in a risk-free way, but also how to actually monetize this skill, because unfortunately, there's plenty of information on the internet about what ceramic coating to buy and how to apply it, but not a lot of business information. And the fundamental problem is that we need to make money as pro detailers. Now, let's get into the video. Now today we are going to be nerding out just a little bit more than I normally do in my detail garage here. I've got one of Rupes' relatively new polishes. It's been out for a while now, so this is no surprise, but it is their high performance fine polishing compound, the yellow label dual action specific polish that they came out with not too long ago. And I've got their yellow foam pad here, their high performance fine polishing foam pad. So you could probably tell it's in the name, but these two particular things go together. Now stick with me really fast so I can give you a tiny bit of context to this conversation. This is one of about 3-ish products that Rupes came out with that is specifically designed for dual action polishers, and it is one part of an overall system of polishes and pads that really is kind of, let's just call it their dual action polishing system. Now this video is not a direct review of this product, but rather giving you guys really the #1 secret to becoming a paint correction specialist, which is learning how to minimize the variables in your paint correction approach so that you can begin to actually define cause and effect relationships between certain pad polish combinations. And that is in a lot of ways what this particular polish and polishing pad allows you to do. And I used it just the other day getting a car ready to be ceramic coated, so it was a perfect time to discuss this. Now I want to take things to the whiteboard just to give you guys a couple specs of this product. Remember, like I said, this particular product is part of an overall system. They've got blue foam pads, blue wool pads, they've got white pads, they've got a product called Uno, which is like a high ultra fine polish. But this particular combination, the reason I'm using it is because Rupes actually came out and said, if you're going to only buy one part of the system, this combination with the foam pad, or let's say with the yellow wool pad, is going to cover the most ground in your paint correction world. In other words, you're going to be able to use that combination to address a wider range of paint correction situations than any of the other pads. Because essentially this polish and pad combo can be used to address heavier imperfections and lighter imperfections. It's really not until you get to the extremes of the bell curve that you have to shift to, let's say, their blue coarse cutting compound or their Uno hyper ultra finishing polish. This can be particularly helpful for beginner detailers who don't really know how to polish and don't really know what polish to choose. It's kind of this done for you solution. In addition to that, this is their fine finishing polish, and when you couple it with the yellow foam pad, which is what I did, you are more going after that surface level correction, what I might call paint enhancement. If you were to couple it with their wool pad, this is where we're getting into this polish turning into more of a cutting compound. Now just a couple technical things here that I noticed when I was using it and that are instructional from the Rupes website. Priming the pad is as simple as essentially putting a line of product on the 12, 3, 6, and 9 o'clock part of the pad. Put it onto the paint, turn your polisher on at a 2 or a 3 under just a little bit of pressure, and that spinning motion from the dual action is the way they tell you to prime the pad. Now, I know most of you probably don't care about this, but because I'm geeking out in this video, going a little bit deeper into the detailing world here, one of the questions that I always have for any polish that I use is this a diminishing abrasive? Is it a non-diminishing abrasive? Is it a mix of both? Because people are actually doing that now. And unfortunately, I finally found my answer, which is Rupes actually does not disclose that information. Like I said, they're more interested in giving you a product that they say works rather than telling you what's in it. For a guy like me, it kills me not to know what's inside the bottle, but you know what? More power to them. That is the beauty of being able to patent intellectual property. Now, the last spec I want to give here regarding the foam pad is Rupes designed this with something that they call lateral stability. And this is kind of a fancy detailing way of saying what I would oversimplify and call something that keeps keeps the pad from getting a lot of pad chatter. So essentially, because this is a dual action system, the approach here is, hey, we're not going to create a polish and a polishing pad that is generally used for rotary but can be used for DA, or generally used for DA but can be used for rotary. We're going to make the whole system specific to the dual action polisher. And in doing that, they've essentially manufactured this foam pad to be a bit more stable, let's say, than another pad that could be used for either. What often happens when you've got a pad attached to a, let's say, 21mm throw, 6-inch backing plate, you're going to get a lot of motion, right? It's kind of a violent motion in some ways, and the internal parts of that foam pad begin to essentially chatter against each other. Pores begin to expand, contract, until you actually start to powder the inside and you get this delamination, you get the pad falling apart. That is something that is mitigated against in this particular pad because it's designed for the DA. Now take a look at the paint I was working on beforehand. This paint is of a Toyota Prius. It's dark blue. It is not maintained. It's kept outside. This is in a lot of ways a junk car, but we are putting a can coat ceramic coating on the outside of it. So we do just want to essentially address the swirls, and the swirls are very, very obvious. Of course, there are super deep scratches, super deep imperfections, but it's that general swirl pattern that creates this spider webbing, hazy overall effect that we want to get rid of. And you can see the quick after result here. That is what we did get rid of. So you can see once again, there are still a lot of imperfections. We're not trying to go after the deep etchings, the deep water spots, the deep bug etchings, the deep rids, but we are trying to present essentially that flawless finish. So we're not going deep, we're just hitting the finish, and we're removing that almost, again, spider webby kind of hazy look that's produced from just a long time of washing the car in kind of an improper way. And of course, this particular polish and pad combo worked really well for that. You guys can see a bit of the technique that I'm using throughout here. A couple things that I want to hit on is, number one, I am not using a cross-hatch pattern, and in a lot of ways in this video, I want to talk to the beginner. A cross-hatch pattern, generally speaking, is not something that is actually designed to create a better paint correction effect. It's really designed to compensate for a beginner's lack of control with the tool. A crosshatch pattern allows the beginner to ensure that, number one, they're going over every single area that they're polishing. They're not missing anything. Number two, they're essentially applying equal pressure throughout, or at least as much as you can with human error. And number three, you're getting an even spread because of that even pressure all over that particular part of the paint with the polish. And generally speaking, what we teach our detailing students in our online trainings is that that crosshatch pattern is great in the beginning, but it can actually serve to hinder you in your paint correction experience later on, because it's just not actually something that is going to affect or not affect the paint correction being done. It's up to the technician themselves. And so a crosshatch pattern is not something I use. It kind of hinders my ability to put pressure in certain areas, tilt the pad the way I need it, increase, decrease arm speed, polisher speed, all that sort of stuff. Now let's come full circle as to why this particular combination can serve to make you a much better paint correction specialist. The reason why I like this pad and this polish combination is because it simplifies the paint correction world, and what you are able to do is take one pad, one polish, and many cars, many situations, different arm speed, different pressure, different polisher speed, different pad tilts, all that sort of stuff, and start to actually measure the cause and effect relationship between this, and the other variables. I like to say that when you're learning paint correction, you keep the polish the same, the pad the same, and it's the other variables you change. It's the car, it's the paint type, it's the paint color, it's the technician's actual skill or implementation of what they're doing that's going to begin to change the results you're going to be able to get or not get, and start to give you an understanding of what something like this actually does, what something like that pad actually does. Now, as we close up here, I do want to show you guys the before and after one more time, taking a look at what the paint looked like before, what the paint looks like after. You guys got a good sense of exactly exactly what it looked like to actually apply this polish with this pad to the paint. If you are interested in checking it out, of course, links to all of that will be in the YouTube description box below. And make sure, do not leave this video without grabbing my free ceramic coating quick start, which is gonna let you guys jump into the ceramic coating and paint correction game without wasting money on stuff that doesn't work, without wasting time on skills that don't work, and without wasting time learning skills you can't actually monetize. We're gonna teach you guys exactly how to go from a beginner, never doing paint correction, never applying a ceramic coating, to actually learning how to talk to a customer in order to close them as a ceramic coating customer. Guys, if you like content like this, make sure to hit the subscribe button so that you can stay up to date with future content. And as always, from Luke here at Wilson Auto Detailing, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.